Guys, it's our fantasy time. I completed all but 2 squares for my 2025 Our Fantasy. And the reason, you ask, Sam, why didn't you finish? I am so bad at reading old titles. Like old titles. Like I think one of them was like from the 70s and the other one was also like old. And I was just like, I'm not great at that. Like if I don't have a very invested interest in whatever I'm going to read, it's not going to happen. So I did not finish 2 of the squares. Should I have swapped one? Sure, but hey, it's fine. I did end up swapping one for this year, I'm pretty sure. And now I have to remember that, which was bad on my part, but we'll get there when we get there. So Our Fantasy is a subreddit over on Reddit. It's in the name, makes sense, huh? And Our Fantasy is all about reading speculative fiction, which can include horror, sci-fi, fantasy, anything magical, anything abnormal, if you will. So domestic thriller won't count, but a supernatural horror fully counts. So, that's kind of the guidelines, if you will. I think the only basic rules are like no repeat authors. You can swap one prompt with a previous year's prompt. I think that's about it. So let's just jump right in and talk about some of the books that I had chosen. The first prompt is that we have a trans or non-binary protagonist, which cannot be an alien or a robot. And the hard mode, which I always try to strive for, is to have a pre-modern time period. For this, I'm going with the sequel to What Moves the Dead, which is What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. I literally spent all 2025 being like, I'm breaking up with T. Kingfisher. Like, we're done. Like, I just don't like their books. They're not hitting for me. And then I continue to put them on TBRs. I continue to pick them up. I don't know. I like pain or something. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed What Moves the Dead. It's one of my favorite T. Kingfishers. I think because it is a historical horror within a novella 100 or so page length. So it's not like too much. There's not a lot of room for like bad filler comedy that doesn't hit for me, So I think it works. I'm going to continue. There's now 3 books out in this series. And in this series, we are following Alex, who's a trans man and also an ex-soldier. So historical, check. Trans, check. I think I will definitely continue with the series. And I think this will be the push that I need to actually do it. What Moves the Dead is an Edgar Allan Poe, The House of Usher retelling, but it's like kind of taking his tale and then making it longer and kind of giving more explanation, a little bit more in general. Very gothic, very dark, very good. The next one is Judge a Book by its title, Hard Mode. Dive in without reading the blurb or any summaries. The hard part for this is this was actually recommended to me by my friend Aaliyah. And the problem with being recommended this book is that I think at some point I had looked at it and I might have read a blurb or something. I have no memory. This was months ago. I don't remember truly. I went with Teddy Bears Never Die. I love this cover too. I think the title's very interesting. I think this comes out in May at some point. I don't know if we're going to pick it up for a buddy read or for a book club pick, but it's on the list. My eyes are peeled to see some reviews coming in. I just adore this cover. I adore the title. I'm very intrigued by it overall. And so hopefully it works. I couldn't tell you anything. I assume that a teddy bear gets life-sized and walks around with a machete. I believe this is horror, if you couldn't tell from this goofy cover, but I truly know nothing, and I'm looking forward to this experience. Prompt number 3 is a translated work, and the hard mode is that it needs to be translated within the last 5 years, and I'm hopefully, well and truly hopefully, will be going with Assassins of Reality. This is the sequel to Vita Nostra, a book that I love and adored. This is by 2 Ukrainian authors. This was originally written in Russian, eventually translated into English, and Vita Nostra is huge. Did you know it's, I think, a trilogy? I didn't. And every time I'm like, I'm going to pick up Assassins of Reality. I'm pretty sure it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'm pretty sure it's on Hoopla. I have no excuse. And yet I keep not doing it. Vita Nostra is one of the most interesting dark academia books I have ever read. If you do not like dark academia, do not read it. If you don't like weird books, I also probably wouldn't recommend that you read this one. It's funky. It's so funky. And, it's so interesting. It is set in a fictional small town in, I believe, Russia. If you really want to get into like the nitty gritty of like what it means to study and to sacrifice so much of yourself for your education, I think it's a really fascinating conversation. I do not think it's for everyone, but God, do I love that book. And I'm so excited to pick up the sequel. Because, like, based off how the first book ended, how could you go somewhere else? I need to know. And then the next prompt that we've got is a small res or self-published, which is what I'm going with. Hard mode is either it's from a marginalized community. I know women technically count as that. And so this is kind of a 2-for-1 because the other hard mode option that you could go with is under 100 ratings on Goodreads. Hard, difficult, not easy to do. I lucked out because, again, I've mentioned this book club so many times, but over on the 4Bs book club, we had somebody very kindly join our chat who happens to write a book, has written a few books. So I decided to put the first book in their Orc-bound series, claimed by the Orcs or something like that, by Honey Hayes, on this because it has, like, no ratings. Girl, why? This has, like, no ratings or no reviews, so I'm, like, you know, happy to support a small author, but also hits the hard mode, and that feels good to me. The last prompt in the first row is unusual transportation. Hard mode is that it's not a power or steam-powered type of transportation. And for this, I am going with the sequel to The Night and the Moth. Obviously, I have not read it, so I don't know how much of it is going to be the same, but there is a very unique magic system in the first book, and there is a very unique way of transportation within it. I think the way that it happens, the way that they transport, I do think is still a viable option in the book. If not, there might be others. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to wait to see if this counts or not, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna count. If you haven't read The Night and the Moth, it fully counts for hard mode, so I do recommend that. But yeah, I'm really hoping that the second book will also include similar elements or the same elements. And then we have the second row, our first one being Afterlife. Hard mode, it's not a good nor bad place, so it's not a heaven and hell type situation. For this, I'm going with Weaving Shaw. I want to say that this is a fantasy romance with some gothic elements. This, I don't remember. I do know that the main character can see ghosts, though, which kind of feels like the ghosts are in a more purgatory sense, where it's not like damned to hell forever, but also like not damned to a life of purgatory. It just kind of seems like a neutral, like, they exist. I'm gonna have to wait and see till I read, but that is my tentative pick for this spot at the very least, because there are ghosties. This next prompt, I also have to wait until I read the book to like fully know if it's going to count or not, but we've got Game Changer, a story featuring a game or competition, with the hard mode being the main character bends the rules in some way, shape, or form. I wish that I have not read A Servant for Earth, because it is the perfect book for this prompt. It was like made for this prompt. But unfortunately, I've already read it, and I don't believe the sequel follows the same competition in any way, so I decided to go with the Vesselists. I don't know what this is about. I know it's romantasy, and I know there's competitions, and that's it. I think there was some hype around this book when it came out, or anticipating it coming out. I really like heard people mention it and then heard nothing after that. I don't know if it's because it's not out or if maybe it just didn't live up to expectations. I'm not really sure. A lot of people were really excited about it and then like crickets. So I don't know, but I'm, you know, hopeful for it. We'll check it out. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. Row 2, prompt 3, vacation spot, no hard mode. We deserve a break. I'm going with I always get it wrong. Graceless Heart. I always want to say Heartless Grace. Somebody needs to fix me. This is by Isabel Ibanez, and oh boy, howdy am I excited. This is set in the Italian Renaissance. I actually took Italian in college, and it was like my favorite class. It was a big part of the reason why I wanted to stay in college and not drop out. But it was not what the cards dealt for me. But I loved taking that Italian class, and I loved learning about like Italian history, Italian geography. Like, I know too much about Italy. And so obviously having a historical romantasy book set in the Italian Renaissance, oh, I'm so excited. I hope that this is as atmospheric and just like descriptive as I hope it is. I'm so very excited for it. It is very anticipated release. I actually really enjoyed What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. The sequel was a big, huge letdown. So I'm really hoping that this one will, you know, knock my socks off, and then hopefully the sequel will actually follow through. Unless it's a standalone, in which I'm sure it's going to be a perfect book for me. Next prompt is one that we have, I'm pretty sure, every single year, which is to read 5 short stories. Hard mode is to read an entire anthology. For this and for Trans Rights Readathon, I had picked out reading Transmogrification, 13 tales of like trans and magic stories. I did not get to this during the Trans Rights Readathon, so I'm kind of, you know, postponing it a little bit, seeing as this readathon reading challenge, bingo board, begins April 1st every year. So I didn't get to it, but I'm going to. I am looking forward to this. I know it's a bunch of different trans authors who kind of came together and wrote some short stories that are following, I'm pretty sure, all trans youth. I think it's young adults and magic of some sort, of different sorts, I'm sure. The next prompt is to read an older protagonist who has to at least be 50 years or older. Hard mode that they're not immortal. I don't know if this fully counts for hard mode. I don't remember like the age of everybody involved, but I'm pretty sure that the non-vampire character is an old man, or is like an old man later on. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. For this, I'm choosing Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones. Why, you say? Because I haven't finished it. I've barely started. I'm less than 80 pages into this. Everyone's loved it. Everyone's screaming from the rooftop. I think my fear is that I'm not going to like it the way that everyone else does, or it's not going to like have an emotional impact on me. And so I've been kind of fearful to pick it up and like be a hater on it, so I just haven't. I'm not the biggest fan of journal-like stories where they're very like detailed and the dialogue and like the movements of people, because it's hard for me to like suspend my disbelief in that way, because very much if I'm writing in a journal, it's not like, and then I walked to the couch, and then I sat down, and then they came into the room. That was so rude. My battery just died on me. Unprompted, I barely had it in. I think it might be time for some new batteries. Anywho. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't remember the age of the man that is having like this dialogue throughout the book. I don't always love an epistolary journal setting just because it doesn't always feel realistic to me. But we're going to see how it goes. I'm hoping that it hits. I'm hoping I read it at the right time for me. And maybe just last year wasn't it. You know, that's my hopes. Third row, prompt number 1. The first book in a duology. I, for this, have gone with Flame and Sparrow. I've wanted to read this duology for quite some time. Obviously, I haven't read it. Hard mode, you haven't read it. Crazy. Yeah, I just really would like to get to this at some point. I've heard good things about it. Have barely heard anything about its sequel, but I'm hoping that it will still, you know, be a good time. I think this will work really well for me because my Aurelium character is doing the dragon calling, so fire on the cover is very good for my prompts. So I would probably read this either in April or in September at some point in some of the, hopefully it has to be this year. So either April or September this year. Next prompt is a debut author releasing their first book in 2026, and for this I am going with the Poet Empress. I have heard fantastic things, like potentially a 6-star book. Kind of excited. I've also heard some critiques about it where it might not hit quite as hard. It kind of just depends on how I buy into it all, but I like the premise. Basically, we've got a main character who is learning to write the ultimate poem of love and death because she's going to kill the evil prince. But to write said poem, she needs to first find the good in him and have some love. I don't know if it has to be romantic love, but like have some type of love for him to be able to write this poem of mass destruction of his entire existence. So I think that's a really interesting and fascinating premise. Asterisk, so sorry, I messed that up. The Poet Empress is for the current book club on like Goodreads, Our Fantasy. They've got, I think, 3 or 4 different book clubs, and if you hard mode read it in the same month that they're reading it in, you get it. So the Poet Empress was for that prompt. My bad, so sorry. 2026 prompt, I'm planning to read Midnight of the Celestial. It's giving me like the Caraval Night Circus whimsical fantasy that I love so much, but like on a cruise? Magical whimsical cruise. I, you know, wouldn't have thought that to be the next thing, but it's on my anticipated releases for this year. Okay, now we can move on to Explorers and Rangers. And for some reason, I've put The Everlasting by Alex E. Haro on here. I don't know if I can justify that. So that makes me wonder if this is a prompt that I swapped or not, but that's what I've gone with, and that's all I have for you for now. So sorry. Hopefully, my brain will click come October when we do our little, like, mid-year recap. And then to round out this row, we've got Duology Part 2. The second part of a very different duology than the first part. Diabolical. So for this, I am going with The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is the second book to the, I don't remember the first one's called, but this is following Oaken, who's like the little boy in the Cruel Prince trilogy. And so this is like him as a teenager. He's kind of a little bit more grown up, and what he's got going on. He's gonna find love. He's gonna figure out this whole royalty thing going on. And I'm very intrigued. I think enough time has passed that I can definitely pick this up and just like enjoy it. and not think about all of, like, the critiques or the current hype around it. And I think it'll work. But I'm really excited. Daphne so kindly gifted me for my birthday the first book. Fourth row, one-word title, hard mode, not a proper noun. I don't know if this fits for hard mode. I've done a very good job. Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. This will be my last attempt with this author. This is a heist book. Not a buzzword for me. I'm not a big fan of heists, to be honest. But we're gonna try. I have this on my shelf, but I'm also not sure what Foundry Side is referring to. If it is a place, then that would consider a proper noun, and therefore this would not count for hard mode. Prompt number 2 in this fourth row is a non-human protagonist, and you get no human POVs for the hard mode. I'm going with Swashbuckling Cats. This was on my R Fantasy, I think in like 2021 or 2022, and I never got around to it. And then I somehow brought it up, and Kirsten was like, I'm interested in reading that. And they got it, and they're gonna read it. And I was like, wait, I have to too. Wait, me too. So I'm gonna try and like jump on that bandwagon, and we'll hopefully read it within the same year, and then we can talk about it, and that'll be fun. But yeah, Swashbuckling Cats. It's a short story anthology collection if you're looking for an anthology for that other prompt. Pirate Cats. That's all I got for you. Our next prompt is to read a middle grade, and hard mode is a new to you author. And for this, I'm going to pick up Amari and the Night Brothers. I'm so late to the game. I know. I don't read a lot of middle grade. It doesn't typically have a pull to me, but I have heard nothing but praise for Amari and the Night Brothers, so I do want to give it a try. I want to check it out. I want to see what it's about, what's going on. I remember nothing. I think we're following a young girl named Amari, and I think she's going to go find her brother. That's maybe all I know. And that could be also very wrong. And then we've got maybe my favorite prompt. Maybe this will excite you and get you to join in on, one of my current series that I'm reading this year that I'm having a lot of fun with. Ursa Dax. I talk about her a lot. The next prompt is First Contact. Interspecies or interracial meetings for the first time. Hard mode, a nonviolent interaction. Oh boy howdy. We are going to be reading Married to the Alien Mountain Man. This is Oaken's book. This is book 5 in the Colony Mail Order Bride series that Ursa Dax is writing. This is all about a bunch of human women flying to Zenar Planner 1 and marrying a bunch of alien cowboys. It's so fun. It's a little bit goofy at times, but it's also very like heartwarming. I also, sometimes a little tragic and scary. It depends on the book. Truly depends. But I'm so excited for Oaken's book. This is going to be the next one that we talk about in a book club. So I'm just so very excited. I think any of Ursa Dax's books can fit in this. You don't technically have to read them in order, but I would recommend that if you like the first book, continuing in order, because there is like characters, cameos, and group chats and whatnot that you do see, and so I do think it helps. I think the fourth book with Warden 10 gives the most context to the world, and you get to see the most characters, so that also could maybe be a potential decent start. But yeah, overall, love the series, highly recommend. So ready for book 5. Final prompt in this row is a murder mystery, hard mode. The main character is not a detective. Here's the thing. I am not a fan of murder mysteries with amateur sleuths. It's not really for me. I have a hard time suspending my disbelief for it, and it kind of bothers me. But the Raven Scholar is a bunch of like students competing in a competition, but the competition's kind of like the back burner because there's a murder mystery during the competition, and she's the one that has to somehow solve it. I think that works for me. I think I can get on board with that because like it's already a fantastical setting. It's not like Finley Donovan's Killing It where it's like a real world setting. Although that one I can suspend my disbelief for quite a lot. Bad example, but it sometimes irks me where I'm like, you're just a person. There ain't no way that you would know any of these things, and it's such dangerous like situations that I'm like, no, this has been such an anticipated release for me. I picked it up before I knew it was in a book sub. I've had it on my shelf for so long. I've planned to read it a bajillion times, and I just haven't gotten to it, so it's gonna happen, and this year is going to be my year. And then we have my least favorite prompt, which is to read a book over 500 pages, hard mode, over 900 pages. Oh, guys, I do not like the chunky books. It's not for me. I can't do it. But for this, because I must, and I don't think I have that many books that I'm like even remotely interested that are over 900 pages. I'm sure there's a romantasy out there somewhere that someone would be like, Sam, this one. But like, to get me to commit to it, I don't know about that. So I am going with the book that's on my physical TBR, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Noel by Suzanne Clark. Why? Because I've trusted her. I really love Pure Nessie. This was her debut. I've heard great things. It's so chunky. Oh my god, it's so big. And so hopefully that I like this. Funny enough, I was planning to read Moby Dick this year. Haven't yet. Not 900 pages? Ugh, rude. But yeah, I don't know anything about Jonathan Strange or Mr. Noel. I don't know if it's like a Jekyll and Hyde situation. Not sure. But yeah, I think the cover is cool. I'm looking forward to it. I hope. The next prompt, I'm so excited about. It is feast your eyes on this. It is meals having a significance to the plot. Hard mode, attempt making a dish from the story yourself. So for this, I actually have an entire video concept that I'm gonna hard launch to you right now. I'm gonna tell you the whole concept. I'm planning to read the entire series of Unfortunate Events series that I've never read before. I was not a kid that grew up on it. I did grow up on the movie. I will say, I love the movie. I also really enjoyed the Netflix adaptation TV show. I've never read the books. And these books have so much food in them. And food is constantly being talked about, being described, being eaten. It's even like an important role in the movies and the show. So I'm so excited. I have like I got a plan of the meals that I'm going to make whilst I read it. Look forward to that. It's going to take me a little bit because I have to like not only read all 13 books, I also have to make all of the food. So it's going to be a little bit of a project. It's going to take me some time, but that's going to be my project that I'm working on now. Like the Critical Role is going to be coming to an end. I'm so excited. You don't even understand. I'm so excited. Okay, so this is the prompt that I had switched out. Published in the 70s, hard mode, written by a woman. I don't want to read anything. I don't want to read old stuff. I don't want to do it. I can't. I don't care. I'm sorry. I am so picky and I care so much about like reading things that I'm genuinely interested in. So I said nah, and I swapped this one out. I decided to swap this one with the Gothic prompt. I do not remember the hard mode off the top of my head, but for this I decided to pick Eldritch because I'm so excited. This is the sequel to Anathema by Carrie Lake. I can't wait. Guys, the fact that I haven't read it yet is truly a crime to myself. Rude and disrespectful, and I'm really looking forward to this. Let me know if you want plot recaps for this duology. Well, it's not a duology, it's a series. We're waiting for news of the third book, so if you want some plot recaps for Anathema and Eldritch before the third book comes out, let me know. I will happily do it. But yeah. Next up, we have Politics and Court Intrigue. Hard mode, it's a prominent focus on politics at a city level or lower. For this, I have gone with The Scarlet Throne by Amy Leo. I do not know if this counts for hard mode or not. I will have to wait and see. If not, I think The Mask of Mirrors will work for this because that is pretty like city lower level. Like obviously it's upper level society, but it's not like government stuff. So if The Scarlet Throne doesn't work, I do think The Mask of Mirrors will. So that's that. And then we have the last prompt. An author of color. And the hard mode is that the author does not live in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. And for this, I have gone with Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I have heard so much praise about this. So many people really enjoy this book. I don't remember what it's about. I think I get it confused with the Ice Palace a lot because I'm pretty sure they're both about kids who find an Alice in Wonderland type situation. I don't know why Alice in Wonderland is so on the brain today. But anywho, I think it's like kids find a magical place and it's maybe an escapism for some like real world trouble. I'm not really sure. I think I get the two books confused a lot, so I don't know what this is about anymore, but I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard so many good reviews for it, so like it's just time. It's time for me to pick it up. If not, I'm planning to read Strange Houses and Strange Pictures. Japanese author, shorter books. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. This is, of course, my TBR for it. This is my tentative plans, but as the year goes on, as things change, I will probably end up swapping things out. So that's why in October, we will have a little chit-chat shindig meetup where we will chat about my progress, where I'm at, what needs to be read, what's maybe been swapped, so on and so forth. So that will come eventually, but this is my tentative TBR, my plans and hopes. I'm honestly really excited for all of these. I don't think there's a single book on this except for maybe Foundry Side, and even then I am excited. I'm just nervous about the excitement, but I think all of these are like pretty big slam dunks. I'm looking forward to it. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for hanging out with us. She really wants to be in the video, so she can help with the outro. Are you helping? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you in the next video very soon. Bye!